Hey guys, we are here at our first episode of Total Wrestling following our first pay-per-view, Malice in Wonderland of the series. Definitely had some big stuff go down there. And yeah, it's only been 2 days in-game world. So as far as news goes, not a whole lot. You're actually looking right here on this front screen is the only news that happened so far. Planet, calling themselves the world's best content provider, launched today amidst much media fanfare. It's supposed to be a direct rival to Reverie. We'll see about it. That's really about it, though. Wrestle World did come to Japan. Yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and jump right into our creative meeting and our pre-show tasks. All right, give the night off. Let's see. I haven't quite gotten down the rhythm for this yet, y'all. I'm being completely honest. Um, I don't. I'm always afraid I'm going to give somebody the night off that I really don't want to. So yeah, let's just go ahead and skip it. I might, if anybody has any experience with that and there's some good suggestions on how to do it, let me know. All right, we've kind of been in the Mid South and the Southwest this entire time. Let's see. Still good, still our best attendance though. You know what? Let's go ahead and do the Midwest this time. Move our way over to the East Coast, I guess. Um, where we got here? We got that's not a bad one. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, Iowa State Fair. No, not the Iowa State Fair. So we got Des Moines or Cedar Rapids so far as options. Not Kansas City, although that'd be cool. Lincoln, Nebraska, maybe. Missouri State Armory, we could definitely sell it out. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's do Springfield, Missouri. Why not? I'm from Missouri, in case anybody didn't know. So, not Springfield, that's for sure. But let's go ahead and no pre-show incidents either. We obviously finalized our broadcasters. Let's check out this booking team meeting. Yeah, we're up over we're just at our max CE all the time. So let's add some more creative ideas. I think we got to, let's see what we're working with right now. We got a shirt. We got the creative finish. That's a big gamble. The Greg Gage big gamble finish. The extremely risky J Cord finish. Safe bet Jalen Martin's finish. A couple storyline ideas in a storyline idea from Troy Tornado. Let's grab a couple of angle ideas. A bit of a gamble can only be applied to angles involving Aaron Andrews in an on-screen role. Okay. Let's just do this just to kind of signify that's a bit of a gamble. We'll start adding those tags at the end of all of them. Let's grab another angle idea. Bit of a gamble with no restrictions. What are we sitting at? 170 stored points. Yeah, I think why not? Got an idea. We got Flint Slater with some low morale. Let's go ahead and do that. Bit of a gamble and can only be applied to Wolf Hawkins. Alrighty. Well, 3 bit of a gambles. Do we push our luck? We got plenty of CE. Let's go ahead and do it. There we go. A big gamble though. Ugh. Ugh. Alrighty. Down to 90 points of CE, so let's go ahead and move forward. Locker room incidents. Wolf Hawkins came to us backstage with an angle idea. Hopefully it's not a huge gamble. Alrighty. Let's address the locker room. We haven't done team bonding in a while. Let's go ahead and do that. We had our a little bit of an argument between Sean Dokes and Jay Cord prior to our pay-per-view, so see what we got. Oh, strengthened tensions between me and Flint Slater. New tensions between Greg Gage and Flint Slater. Lovely. Flint Slater's going to be a problem, y'all. I love that he is our new star we're supposed to push because he has just been nothing but a headache so far. All right, I will see you guys at our booking screen after we get this all set up, and we will jump into the Tuesday of February 1st edition of Total Wrestling. See y'all then. All right, guys, we are wrapping up our pre-show. Let's go ahead and get into our first episode of Total Wrestling post Malice in Wonderland. We'll get into some of the fallout from that pay-per-view and move forward with some storylines. Before we get going, though, I did want to say one thing. A couple episodes ago, I think it was a couple episodes ago, I mentioned the fact that I was debating turning high-risk moves back on. It's naturally checked off that they're banned in your product. I did go ahead and put those back on. There's just too many of our wrestlers that were getting penalized for it. If it ends up being kind of cheesy, we will go ahead and change it back, but we will see how we go. But to start things off tonight, we get a video recapping the events of Malice in Wonderland, Aaron Andrews having his hand raised in victory, Jay Cord retaining the world title, and of course the events following T-Bone versus Hawkins involving the Syndicate and Mighty Mo. The segment gets 70. Both segments lose heat, but I mean, that's not surprising. They both just had really good pay-per-view matches. But speaking of Mighty Mo, we see Mighty Mo in the parking lot, walking into the arena, with Jason Azaria chasing behind him, trying to get a word. Clearly, Mo is ignoring him. Finally, though, annoyed, Mo grabs Azaria by the shoulders. I'll tell everyone everything they need to know next week. He lightly shoves Azaria and continues on his way. Azaria just kind of stands there. And yeah, segment gets a 58. All right, Kyle Rhodes lets us know that the winner of the following Battle Royal, our first match of the evening, will get a TV title shot next week. In a bout that had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling, Tana the Mighty won a Battle Royal in 9:40. The first few eliminations happened without much fanfare, as Kishi Tagawa, the Masked Mauler, Duke Freeman, and Jeremy Courtney are eliminated in the opening minutes of the match. Bradford Pepperell and Aldous Blackfire, Tana the Mighty and Mark Speed, and Elliot Thomas and Quentin Queen are all paired off with each other. Pepperell lays into Blackfire with vicious strikes, backing him into the ropes. He charges for a clothesline to eliminate Blackfire, who pulls the ropes down. Pepperell flies over and is eliminated. Tana the Mighty chucks Speed over the top rope at the same time. Aldous runs and hits a shotgun dropkick that staggers Tana against the ropes. This time, Blackfire charges at Tana, who backdrops him over the ropes to the outside. Queen and Thomas take turns punching each other repeatedly in the corner and trying to lift the other over the ropes. Thomas drops Queen with a punch and climbs up to the top rope to hit a dive and is caught by Tana the Mighty. Tana uses Thomas's legs as a weapon, whipping them into Queen and sending him barreling over the ropes to the outside before he chucks Thomas to the floor. Tana begins to celebrate, but Queen is on the apron still and tries to choke out Tana, who turns around and chops the life out of Queen, who drops to the floor. Tana is your winner. Yeah, simmering. Not a great match, but I mean, definitely could be worse. All right, decent promo. 64 on this one. Jason Azaria enters the ring to get a word from the victor. Tana says he's old and worn down, but the chance at one more run with gold is a dream come true. Jason Azaria then asks the question on everyone's mind. Tana, I have to ask. Have you spoken to Mighty Mo? I know we're all trying to figure out where his head is at after his actions on Sunday. Well, I wish I could shed some light on that, but no, I haven't spoken to Mo. I haven't spoken to him in weeks, if I'm being honest. I reached out as soon as I heard he was injured, but no response. I heard he'll be here next week, and I'm as anxious as anyone to hear what he has to say, but right now my focus is on my match next week. Tana thanks Azaria and heads to the back. Yeah, segment gets a 64, getting the crowd hotter. Tana performed well without the script. Moving on. In a decent wild brawl, Jalen Martins defeated Storm Splain in 7:38 by pinfall with a flying forearm. Martins imposes his will upon Spillane to start the match, as Jasmine Saunders lets us know this match was made official after the dust-up on the outside of the ring during the TV title match last week. Martins tosses Spillane around the ring for a while before getting him up for a bear hug. Spillane drives both of his elbows down into the shoulders of Martin, causing him to break the hold. Spillane follows up with repeated kicks to the legs and torso of Martins, but it only succeeds in angering him as he lays out Spillane with a shoulder tackle as we head to the break. We return to Martin still in control with a standing rear naked choke. Spillane elbows Martins in the gut repeatedly, trying to break free, but to no avail. Finally, he jumps up and back down, hitting a, kind of like a stunner type move on T-Bone, or not T-Bone, on Martins. And uh, he hits a standing shooting star press for a 2 count. They both get to their feet, and Spillane goes for a kick to the gut. Martins catches it, so Spillane backflips out of it and lands an enziguri to stagger Martins. Spillane runs at the kneeling Martins for a shining wizard and is caught and slammed down with the spinebuster. Martins hits a military press drop and then the flying forearm for the win. So yeah, Martin's getting some reps in, getting a win, trying to build up his momentum and his his perception a little bit. 49 in the ring's not bad for him. I think that's his best performance I've seen, or at least that I've remembered. Moving on. And an average 6-minute promo. Not great. The Syndicate are seen in their locker room celebrating Martin's win. Jason Azaria stood there, but at this point it appears he's given up on even asking a question. Hammond asked Slater and Hawkins if they're worried about Mo interfering in the match later, knowing he's in the building. Look, I have no idea what's going on with Mighty Mo. T-Bone, any of that. But we'll make quick work of Divine Fortune later and get out before there's any time for things to go south, says Hawkins. We've got this under control. Trust me, Slater adds as he pats Doc on the shoulder. Azaria goes to finally ask the question, and as soon as he does, all 3 present members of the Syndicate get up and walk out past him. It says everything was good, but not a great segment rating. 54. Moving on. Okay. Not a bad match. In a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Greg Gage defeated Seth Whitehead in 10-16 by submission with a proton lock. The 2 technicians start off with an impressive chain wrestling routine that includes Greg Gage getting Whitehead up for a cattle mutilation at one point. Neither can gain the upper hand on the ground, though, so the striking battle begins. Whitehead lands multiple stiff shots and appears Gage will drop, but he fires back with repeated forearms to Whitehead's face, pushing him into the ropes. Whitehead bounces off and turns Gage inside out with a clothesline, his body flipping and landing on the mat awkwardly. Whitehead goes for a series of submissions, and while he's able to help him maintain control for a few minutes, Gage manages to break free or reverse every attempt before long. Whitehead tries to lock on a knee bar and is met with kicks to the face in return. Gage gets up and kicks the chest of Whitehead as he rises to his feet. Whitehead responds by dropping Gage with the right hook and hits the ropes for another devastating clothesline, but Gage jumps and uses White's momentum to hit a code breaker. He flips over onto his back and pulls his arms back, locking in the proton lock. That Scorpion Death Lock. Or his legs, not his arms, I guess I should say. But yeah, Whitehead has to tap. 10 minutes, 16 seconds, but 75 rating. 79 from Gage and a 51 from Whitehead. I think Whitehead's going to do some work for us in the coming months. Might need to work on building him up a bit. All right, Big Angle coming up next. Nice, 77 rating. Not too bad. Even with the Angle idea that was a bit of a gamble being a failure. I want to know what it would have been if that had been a success. Jade Cord makes his way to the ring. TCW world title over his shoulder. He soaks in the jeers from the fans and even signals to them to keep the boos coming. Finally, they die down and he speaks. The only reason I let you miserable losers disrespect me for that long is so you tire yourself out. I want every single one of you to hear every single word I'm about to say. Me and Greg Gage had a hell of a fight this weekend. 2 sons of legends in our own right, going one-on-one. It's the stuff you people dream of, which is why I'm here to tell you it's the last time that match will ever happen, at least as long as I have anything to say about it. No epic trilogy, no rubber match, nothing. I beat Gage square in the ring, clean as a whistle. In fact, at this point, I've beaten everyone who's come my way. As I see it, I might as well go home and give the title back when I get tired of looking at it, because no one here has a chance of beating me. Aaron Andrews' music hits to an enormous pop, and the Ace makes his way to the ring. He immediately stands face to face with Cord and rips the mic from the champ's hands. Jay, you must have been so consumed with your rivalry with the best second-generation star in the company, Cord scowls. But I felt I was pretty clear in these past few weeks, but in case you didn't hear, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for that title. You said you've beaten everyone here at this point. That's probably true. I know you beat me for that world title, the one that you're holding right there. But you did say something that was a flat-out lie, or maybe just misplaced confidence. You said no one left can beat you. That's where you're wrong. I can and I will. So are you going to accept my challenge here and now, or you need to sneak attack me from behind next week first? Andrews shoves the mic into Cord's chest. Cord looks furious, but eventually his face kind of turns to that cocky, wry smile. He holds out his arm to shake Andrews' hand. Andrews accepts, the champ pulls him in, and the two stand nose to nose. The match is set. 77 rating. Jay Cord went off the script well. Again, the angle idea was a failure, but it was a bit of a gamble. Not surprised. Yeah, but no beating around the bush like there was last month with the title match. We have 4 weeks to build, or 3 now, I guess. Aaron Andrews versus Jay Cord. Moving on. Not bad. In a decent match, Sammy Bach and Human Arsenal defeated the Bruisers in 12-18 when Human Arsenal pinned Dominic Rizzoli with an ammo dump. Gonna grab a drink here real quick, guys. Excellent chemistry from Sammy and Arsenal, and great chemistry from Nick Booth and Dominic Rizzoli, which is cool. Segment gets 68. The Bruisers use their superior strength and brawling skills to take advantage early on, rocking Human Arsenal with repeated punches, each time staggering him. Arsenal keeps coming, though, and hits a few uppercuts of his own, followed by a scoop slam and a standing elbow drop. Arsenal tags in Bach, who hits a drop kick and a DDT before showboating to the crowd. He turns around to find Rizzoli has tagged in Booth and eats a few jabs to the face and a knee to the gut. Booth grabs Bach and hits him with a backbreaker, holds on and hits another, holds on and ragdolls Bach across the ring before we go to commercial. Back from break, and Booth is still wearing down Bach. A striking exchange begins, Booth rocking Bach repeatedly, Bach continually trying to respond, but his shots barely phase Booth. Booth lands a huge forearm, and Bach's head droops down, landing on his chest. Unable to stand on his own. Booth raises his arms out to taunt the crowd, and Bach grabs onto his head and hits a sit-out jawbreaker, dropping Booth before collapsing himself. Booth recovers first and begins to crawl to his corner. Bach begins to do the same shortly after. Booth tags in Rizzoli, who runs down Bach, grabbing him by the leg before he can make the tag. Bach gets to his feet and hits a spinning wheel kick with his free leg and falls into a tag from Arsenal. He hits his usual comeback spots in the ammo dump. Gets his team the win. Yeah, not bad. 58 wrestling, 54 crowd rating. Crowd's very hot. Few segments left. We'll see how we do. Alrighty. In an average 4-minute angle, Kyle Rhodes lets us know Dazzling Dave Diamond was set for action up next, but apparently something is currently going down in gorilla position. We cut backstage, where Dazzling Dave is laid out on the floor while one-man Army checks on him. Bradley Blaze runs into frame to check on Diamond too. He asks who did this, and one-man Army simply points to Titan as he walks by. So yeah, Killer Shark's partner obviously not happy with how things have gone down the past couple of weeks, and at the pay-per-view, specifically with Blaze beating Titan. Oh, by the way, not that really that big of a deal, but I usually announce where we're from. A little bit over 6,000 fans live in Springfield, Missouri tonight. Alright, and about that it didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, Titan defeated Wild Red Stallion in 240 by pinfall with the Titanic chokeslam. In no time at all, Titan dismantles the rookie. He hits a big boot, 3 power bombs, and then that Titanic chokeslam for an easy victory. Yeah. Just Titan, this was supposed to be Dazzling Dave Diamond's match, and Titan decided, nope, it's going to be mine. Beat him up, walked out there. I mean, we could even say, like, the bell didn't even ring. You know, that's not even an official match because it wasn't sanctioned. So Titan just kind of goes out there, beats him up, and stands, puts his foot on his chest and gets the 3 count, even though there isn't really a 3 count to be had. All right, next up we have the Final matchup in the first round of the Tournament of Legends. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Troy Tornado defeated Bart Biggins in 7:52 by pinfall with the Star Maker. The final first round matchup. Oh, I already said that. Sorry. The two kick off with going veterans go kick off going move for move, arm drags, suplexes, a back body drop from Biggins to Tornado. Tornado bounces up just as Biggins runs at him. Tornado gets in position for a back body drop of his own, but Biggins stops and delivers a kick to his gut instead. He hits a swinging neckbreaker and gets a 2 count. Both men get back to their feet, and Tornado gets back in the fight, but is consistently a step behind Biggins, until he manages to reverse an Irish whip into a springboard crossbody followed by a bulldog. Tornado goes up top, but Biggins manages to rack him on the top turnbuckle, and Tornado falls to the mat. Biggins taunts to the crowd before going to grab Tornado for the finish, but he's caught with a roll-up. 1, 2, Biggins rolls over on top. 1, 2, Tornado flips it back and scores another 2 count, and again for Biggins. Seeing they're going nowhere, both men stop going for pin attempts. Back on their feet, Troy Tornado hits a spinning back fist out of nowhere, an inverted DDT, and then the Star Maker. And Troy Tornado gets the win. Pretty good chemistry. The commentary and color commentary, good as always. 60 rated. Yeah, not bad. We haven't had any stinkers this episode, but there also hasn't been, I feel like, well, I guess the Greg Gage match was pretty good. Let's go ahead and move forward. All right, backstage, the main event, and Benny and the Fox are stood on either side of Jason Azaria, arguing with each other. Crosstalk, all that. You're all here because I received word earlier that Freddie, Matt, you two will be defending your tag team titles against Benny and the Fox. The main event throw their arms up in frustration and talk amongst themselves as Azaria continues. And that match will happen next week. The main event begin to throw a tantrum as Benny and the Fox high-five before walking off. So yeah, we're going to have our first non-TV title match on TV. So 2 title matches next week. We're getting the TV title match with Slater and Tana the Mighty. And we're getting a tag team match between Benny and the Fox and the H2O. We'll see how it goes. Segment gets to 55. All right, trying something a little different here. We're doing 2 quick, pre-tape videos back to back. These both come from Sunday after, post match at the pay-per-view. Joshua Taylor angrily paces, standing outside before standing right in front of the camera and staring down the lens. Excuse me, guys. Oh, sorry. Felt that sneeze coming. So, Joshua Taylor angrily paces before standing right in front of the camera and staring down the lens. I have no one to blame but myself. But now, I know exactly what I need to do. He walks into the locker room behind him, slamming the door as he goes. Yeah, 54. 2-minute video. Nothing really to write home about. Then 53 for Chris Flynn. Basically the same thing. Little video. Chris Flynn is shown untaping his wrists, seated in front of his locker room post-match. Seated in front of his locker post-match. What you saw tonight was just a taste of what's to come. I've toiled for too little for too long, and it's time I take what I want instead of waiting for it to come to me. Yeah, segment gets a 53. Main event is up next. We have Wolf Hawkins and Flint Slater facing off against Divine Fortune. Hawkins and Divine start us off with a prolonged grappling exchange. Divine manages to get the first shot in with a snapmare and a drop kick to the back of the seated Hawkins. Divine tosses Hawkins into his corner and tags in Fortune. Divine pulls Hawkins out of the corner and clotheslines him with another. Then Choice Fortune lands on top of him with a top rope splash. Back on their feet, Fortune continues the offensive, but Hawkins' strength quickly gains him the advantage. After a few impactful strikes, Hawkins whips Fortune into the turnbuckle so hard he ricochets off and hits the ground. Hawkins steps over him and tags in Slater, who grabs Fortune, hunched over on the ground, and in one fluid motion hits a deadlift gut-wrench suplex. Slater admires his work as the ad break hits. Back from break, Slater still has the upper hand. Now he whips Fortune into his corner and takes off to deliver a running knee to the face of Fortune. who drops down out of the way, and Slater's knee instead grazes Hawkins, who falls down, smashing his face on the apron as he goes. As Slater processes what just happened, Fortune gets to his feet and heads full speed to tag in his partner. Slater realizes what's happening and dives out to grab Fortune, but the tag is made. Divine vaults over the rope, and he crushes the down Slater. He just dove out after to grab his leg, so he's laying face down. Vaults over the top rope and in one motion lands on the back of his head with a leg drop. Slater pops up quickly, but Divine hits a super kick, then a Hurricane Rana, landing on top of Slater and delivering punches to his face as he goes. Slater throws Divine off and dusts himself off, but Divine stays on him. He goes for another Hurricane Rana, but Slater holds on. He starts to pull backwards, but he pulls him back up, carries him across the ring, and hits a buckle bomb back in his corner. He tags in Wolf Hawkins, and he hits a full moon rising on the dazed Divine. Dazed? Ugh, I can't talk. I'm just going to go ahead and go forward to the next screen. Yeah, pins Arrow Divine with the full moon rising. Match gets a 79. That may be our best match we've had. Flint Slater was really off his game, too. Wolf Hawkins looked excellent out there. Let's go to the dirt sheet real quick and see if that affected anything. The changing of the high-risk moves. Penalized for poor use of his explosive ring style. Might need to have Flint Slater in shorter matches because of that. Interesting. And Wolf Hawkins was penalized for physical condition? What? Alright, well, regardless, we got a 79. I'm going to need to look into that and see if he's actually got decline. Well, it's not declining physical ability, but I don't know, man. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up. 76. One of our better shows, I'm pretty sure. Go ahead and finish it. Financial report, made almost $400,000, doing great in that regard. Popularity recap, we went up almost everywhere in Canada besides the Maritimes. Holding strong in America. We dropped down a bit, but we went back up to 75 everywhere but Puerto Rico and Hawaii. I think this next month, and especially next week with our 2 title matches, and not just that, but I think next week is the most excited I've been to record an episode yet. So, yeah, we'll see what we have in store, and I will see you guys in a couple of days for another episode of Total Wrestling.